what we have seen in the AV, understood 40 years of film editing, that is Sreekar Prasad. And definitely, we can't find a better person than him at this point to talk about our subject, the future of cinema. When we talk about the future of cinema, I think at this point I'm not interested only to talk about only the technological side of cinema today. Today, when you meet anyone, every Tom, Dick, and Harry talks about AI. Almost sometimes I really get bored to death. And some people say, no, there'll be no directors, there'll be no script writers, there'll be no storytellers. All AI will do. Definitely, it's complete misinformation. People who really follow AI will know that. What we are interested, I'm sure Sreekar is also interested in the same thing. We mean cinema is an cinema, the art of storytelling. The first question is, in this technological development, people talk about the immersive cinema, AI, and the augmented reality. In general, we talk about the immersive cinema. I'm sure when we talk about the future of cinema, it's not that. In this context, first, what exactly do you think is the future of cinema?
Cinema is a thing which has been there for quite some time. No, it has undergone lots of changes, and it has its own path or the travel journey, which is very close to lots of present things which are happening in the world. I think in terms of social media, reels, and like that, everything. The cinema is also trying to imitate certain things which are happening, which is to play with people's uh, short-term interest in uh, any particular visual. So cinema is also trying to upgrade itself to that, but that is not what I mean. That is what is being marketed now. But actually, what is cinema? Cinema is it's something which you want to experience in the theater. You may go back with a very profound sense of exhilaration or anything you may feel after seeing a film, because like you said, it's very immersive in that way. So but to all these techniques which are coming, we try to use it to make cinema better. But what is most important in cinema is, I think, the core subject, what interests, the content. The content is what is most important, and that is what maybe we are not really able to pull off in many films. So our success rate is probably about 5% to 10% in cinema as a commercial commodity. But again, when you come to festivals and when you see a lot of pure cinema, you really understand that what people want to convey and what people want you to understand. So there's a sense where that uh, cinema is beyond all commercial considerations. I think it's an art form where you experience something and you come out of it enlightened, or even excited about it. The thing about this technology thing is that a lot of things are happening, like AI and all that stuff, which is, see, everything, when I started my career and I was working on movie alas at that time, when the Steenbeck and another flatbed came, there was a lot of resistance because they said, no, no, this is not, it's not frame accurate, it will not stop. Moviela was a mechanical driven vertical film editing machine, while this was a flatbed, and they had then resistance came in when uh, the non-linear editing technologies on digital platforms came, like Avid and other things. Then they said this is not the right way to edit because you don't get a sense of feel of the film or thing. But as a creator, we try to adapt to technology because it's inevitable that you have to understand what is happening around you, because otherwise you will be left far behind. So learning is imperative. So the thing is that how to use technology to make better cinema is what we are trying to learn. In similar lines, AI is something which is also something like that, which you can use to speed up your work, get your references. See, basically, when a film is being made, the directors require a lot of referencing. It's in his mind, but it has to be explained to another person. So it used to be books before. 25 years back, you have to show somebody something and you're not able to explain it exactly. So you go through some books and find, there used to be black books and things like that where you have these color palettes and frames and things like that, and you show this is the sort of look I'm imagining for my film and things. Similarly, AI actually helps you in getting a lot of information quickly across to you. I don't see it as something which will replace, because I think the core idea has to go from you. Like I was traveling yesterday from Chennai to here. I was in a car which had the influence of AI to talk about roads and things like that. But the destination is mine. The place what where I wanted to go, or everything was being fed by me. No, it's that sort of thing. So you try to use the technology. There's no point in resisting it, because then you become slow, you become outdated, and you're not exposed to it. So all the time the technology keeps improving. It is there for a purpose, but I don't think it's there to replace creativity. Creativity is something which comes from you, because you have a empathy, sympathy, feeling about something you want to talk about, or something you want to tell. Why so many good films get made, or we get into such films, is when somebody comes and tells you a story, you suddenly feel that this story has to be told. It's not that I get excited by that story. I also want another 100 people or 1,000 people. So when a person comes to make a film, a young filmmaker, the first thing I probably ask him is, what is the sort of target? I'm very excited about this, but what is the target audience you're looking at? Because the subject by itself will have a limitation of target audience, maybe, but it's the way you make it also is very important for your target audience. This level of exaggeration, the level of drama, the level of trying to use music, everything will depend on the sort of audience you're showing it to. Because if you're going to send it to festivals, I would try to make it as realistic as possible, and the level of exaggeration in the edit will be so less, because you expect the audience who are coming here to understand it in a second. While if you're going to put it to the mainstream audience, probably you increase the level of intercuts and things like that to make it a little more understandable, and you also support it with a lot of music. So everything is become I think it's very interactive with the audience, I think. So when we make films, we although we make it from the heart, we also have to know to whom you're making, because it's such a vast audience are there all over the world.
As you said, I mean, we all want to reach out the audience.
Yeah.
Here comes another major issue that's so much related to the future of cinema. In fact, very interesting fact I found in one of the major documentary on the French film school, La Femme Film School. We all film school here teach three, four courses in India: direction, cinematography, edit, sound, or edit and sound. That's all. In La Femme Film School, I thought there are many courses other than these four. One of the interesting courses, exhibition. Lots of young people come and apply for exhibition, and I saw the interviews, and they asked the candidates, tell what exactly you want to do by doing this course. No, I want to hire some small buildings in my neighborhood, or find out a venue. In that, now we talk about art of cinema, reaching content. Okay, we make such films. How are we going to reach the people? How we are going to get the money back? But still, people are so crazy, sacrifice their jobs. I know even here one or two people who gave up their promising government jobs, sitting here wanting to make films. Very young people. I don't know whether to encourage them or not. In that context, what do you? I mean, your views on the future of cinema?
Any other industry in the country, I think, or in the world, I think cinema also has been commercialized to the extent that uh, it's like you have these multinationals or something like that which come in, and the smaller business suffers, like that. Similarly, here also we follow somewhere the Hollywood model of um,
Big star.
big star cast, big films, and the amount of money that they can spend on publicity. With all the various uh, medias that are available now, you can really spend a lot of money to get the people across, to create what we call in cinema the hype. Whether it's the trailer, whether it's the so that thing when it's created, if you've noticed over the years, it's become very short span of time where it really runs in theaters. A cinema itself, a cinema which is doing very successful, uh, probably 2 weeks, 2 weekends or 3 weekends is the max it can hold. That's the sort of situation, because you release in more theaters and get back your investment back, and you pay more money to the bigger stars. So there's a lot of thing happening like this now. In this, who gets affected are the smaller filmmakers. So that is where is the thing is that we have to look at, um, that's why I always insist that we look at a target audience. So if you are going to only portray this film for an X sort of target, and it's not like stars and this and that in this whole world of commercialization, so you need to spend the right amount of money to make your movie the way you want it, but with the right stars, and sell it to the right platform. So that whole process has to be thought of. And now, luckily, because of all the social media, you have to create a buzz for your film anyway. It doesn't cost much if you do it through social media like Facebook, this, that. But because people are not ready to come to theaters unless they're fully aware of the possibility of the film, because they have so many options, and it's even only become worse after probably the OTT has arrived, where all the films can be seen there after 1 month. So a whole crowd of family is not entering the theaters unless they're very excited, or they hear very good things about the film, or the trailer makes them go for the film. So all these factors together, I think right now, whatever film you make, I think you need to also spend enough of time. I think there should be some innovation in the way you publicize your film depending on your budget. You may, a small film may not have, but you need to prepare the audience. You have to publicize, you have to go through, and that is what helps small filmmakers with festivals. When it probably gets recognized in some international festival like Rotterdam or Berlin or Cannes, it immediately attracts attention. So it gets sort of a visibility factor which you can use to go to the next level. And like you said, rightly you said, how the foreign or the abroad film schools have a lot of importance to exhibition and marketing, and this we still don't have, because many of my friends children who have studied and things, when they come back and they talk about these things, they have, at a very young age, they're much more aware of marketing and what is required to pitch a film and things like that. So that whole process is, I think we really need to, so wherever we are doing these festivals or where we are participating, we always try to tell them to have a market section, or something like that, where you guide people. I think even here, maybe next year, you can have a class on how independent filmmaker can actually try to take his film wherever it is possible. No? Like independent filmmaker can take it to the OTT later, but they are also insisting on a release to take it to OTT nowadays. But it's the route which is only left to us is to exhibit it to many people, get a confirmation that it's made an impact, and then come and release it to the people. That's the scenario which is happening right now.
You rightly said, I mean, you must be very clear when you decide your content.
Yeah.
I mean, who is your target audience? And you are also aware you have to spend money on what they call advertising. But you said you don't have money, so you create a buzz through the social media. For that, I mean, they actually have to use the intelligence, extra intelligence. Many youngsters go for the mediocre content now and the serious content, but the new faces, little money, almost non-existent. Do you see that?
Most, I think, what we lack actually in Indian cinema is probably right now is writing. We have the technical expertise. We probably have the money to spend. In different industry, they're spending a lot of money to make big films. Probably you have the stars to pull the audience, all that. But writing as an artistic expression, what you want to tell, because what generally is happening is that it's only recycling of cinema is happening most of the time. Because something is successful, then you want to, everybody goes behind that, and the cycle ends once that phase is finished, and then everything goes down. So that is why we're not able to see success, the wanted success in the industry, I think. But if writing is strong and the content is strong, probably we'll be able to. Like you had mentioned, a couple of films, Tamil films, which have done recently well, is also, you may not consider them to be good, but they, after a period of different the same films coming again and again,
Okay,
these look like breath of fresh air.
that's
So
true.
that is why they became successful. So I think audience want to be surprised with the content, and because they have access to so much content, everybody is watching everything all the time, either on mobile or laptop or anywhere on television. And there are some 50 OTT channels which are running, and so much content is being shown. So they want something which will excite you, which will impress you. So for that, we are not getting prepared. I think as an industry, we are not prepared. So we are trying to recycling. We are recycling the same thing again and again. Violence is the forte now, so it is being recycled again and again, and it's going to meet its downfall. So that sort of thing. I think that is where the industry has to. So I think even a small film which has a good content, which is, again, when you come back to the word target, because if it has a theme which many people will like to see, it could easily work today. Well, a section of people are used to seeing stars and not as characters. So that is one thing which is very prevalent in India, even South India, some place North India also, I think. So they want to look at stars. So I don't think they're looking at a character. So the day that breaks, and then the characters are what I enjoy. You see all the films where the characters work, the films have been big hits, not necessarily the other way around.
I think that's very much true. I had gone through that, the stars, in a kind of reputed film school where I've been teaching. In the recent past, whenever the big star films released, especially Ajit or Rajni, I'm not even aware. Okay, I know that the films are being released. When I enter the class, half of the class is missing. What the hell? What happened to the rest of the people? They all will be, speaking, smiling. They're little hesitant to say, "Tell me, where are they?" I mean, So they all gone for the morning shows today. Rajini film is, I'm sure, like other we were discussing that yesterday. I tell, okay, if that is the thing, whenever Ajit Rajini films are getting released, I'll tell the management to, we'll not have class on the forenoon. Why the hell I come so sincerely? Can't you
See,
see tomorrow, day after, on Sunday? No, they are not ready. I mean, you remember that.
yeah, but the thing is that,
Mm.
see, this particular thing which is happening is a big advantage in India. People want to see cinema, want to see their stars and all that.
Okay.
No, so it's the only way the industry can also, because it shows an interest by audience for seeing cinema on the first day morning, going at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. They may be going for the star, but it's ultimately what is it's for cinema. So somewhere we need, I mean, as filmmakers need to crack that and deliver both, so that it's not like going only for the morning 4 o'clock show or 6 o'clock show and getting disappointed with it and the film not doing well, but take it to the next level, because how many places in the world does cinema play such a important role in uh, I mean, somebody's life, that they want to go and take that. That we are lucky that it's there. So it's a positive thing for our industry. I think we just need to use it properly.
Okay, now my last question before audience to ask you the questions. Uh, he has his own personal experiences. Deep inside, I think he would like to promote what we call the new cinema, independent cinema. I'm sure you helped, like, starting off with Prasanna Vidanagi. I mean, even last time he was talking about you. I mean, but for you, I mean, you would not have made certain films, and you have been a constant encouragement for him. Now he has reached a level. And similarly, now current any young filmmakers, how you really do you see any such young talents? When you see such talents, how do you help them in
Okay.
whatever way is possible or advise them?
Okay. No, the thing how it works for us is that although we are working in cinema, which is commercially viable also, and we've been working with people for a long time, so we keep working with them. But I'm particularly, I mean, happy when somebody wants to make a film, somebody wants to tell a story, and I find that story is worth telling. So we try to enter, I mean, help that person tell that story. So it at that point, because of lot of what limitations, we would not be probably looking at it like a commercial venture. So we would be looking at promoting it and addressing it and getting it to the right place. So recently I did one film for a young um, filmmaker, actress called Semmalar.
Sebalaranam.
You know her. She has made a film. So and that is it was a very independent venture. She didn't have that much money, and she made it in a village and things like that. But there was a sense of commitment and sense of trying to tell a story, which is very relatable. I mean, it's not relatable to me, but it's relatable to the milieu she's making it at. But when I listen to it, it really I like that. So what happens is finally what you do your bit for cinema is that you try to encourage all the people who make the right sort of cinema, because finally what we have learned over the ages is we do cinema is an art form which is something which is perpetual, which can remain for a long time. Even we make great efforts now to preserve old films and things like that. The government is also taking a lot of initiatives, and other people are also doing to restore negatives and things like that. So when you have this something which is made with a vision that it will remain forever, it may not remain forever because many negatives are damaged, but right now they're taking care. But it is something which is, it's a statement, it's something to do with our culture. Like 50 years back, some film was made which had some things, you know, when you see it, you realize that people were like this, our country was like this, our village was like this. So everything is a, we passed down to the, in the history, you know. So I think it's very important for us to keep making films, and I think we should keep making films which are culturally and emotionally very engaging and relevant to the time, so that, you know, it's there for future generations to see, I feel.
Okay, I agree. I mean, that's very much true. I mean, to make one statement, what you said so far is that lots of youngsters, when I see, I find it difficult to understand their interest itself because they don't read, they have not read any classics, they're not exposed to many great filmmakers in the history of cinema itself only 130 years old, but still, for many, the history of cinema starts in 2000 or 1990, not in 1895 for them. So, but still, they have their interest. I, but I have no right to suspect or question their
Correct.
interest. But they are ready to do anything for that. I can't put a qualification. You are not, I mean, because you have not read Shakespeare, you can't talk about theatre, or that does not matter. People talk about theatre. They would not have exposed to Shakespeare or Hamlet or Macbeth. Same thing. They would not even heard Macbeth. I mean, not even Bergman, Kieslowski. Every year I see it more and more. I myself getting, what, something wrong with me? Is something wrong with my approach? Teaching cinema to these kids? None of them heard any of these names, but still they're dying. Okay, with that, I do
Sometimes
not
even
know.
life's experiences, you know,
Yeah.
actually matter for people, I think. You know, that is more, much more important, I think, to have different experiences for a filmmaker to really express himself well. See, even I was not from a film school when I started off. I just came through in the industry. I didn't know all these people existed, you know, at the initial part of it. And it's been a journey. So the journey, I learned how to edit, what is this. And then I learned that it doesn't have to be edited like that. It can be edited in a different way. And then I learned that cinema can be different. So this whole learning and unlearning happened over years for me. And then I adapted to different ways of looking at cinema. So I can compartmentalize between mainstream action films, and I can also edit a film which needs that sort of rhythm where it has to be told at a very gentle pace, and it has to imbibe the emotion in you and things like that. So I think experience and life, I think, are the greatest things a filmmaker, anybody who wants to do films, should go through before they start making films.
Sir, thank you so much. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed editor, Mr. Sreekar Prasad, on behalf of Puducherry Film Forum and Alliance Francis Pondicherry, along with the Tamil Nadu Progressive Writers and Artists Association, for this wonderful masterclass. Thank you so much. I also thank Mr. Sivakumar Mohanan and our